Hey there, so in this video we're going to be creating a WordPress server that is scalable, and as you go through your upgrades and for further site additions and uh, for any client work or any thing where you need to add more sites and more data into it, and you think your server's gonna need updates, as like since servers do need updates as you progress while your work goes on. So these are when like these situations create some conflicts in the server, and there might be errors if you were to do it all on your own. What we're gonna set up in this one is uh, a further an automatic server, like say suppose it handles everything automatically, a WordPress server. So let's get started. We're gonna be using EasyEngine for this, and for server we're gonna be creating a droplet at DigitalOcean. So for starters, I suppose you already have a DigitalOcean account. If not, you can create one at digitalocean.com. So I've already mine logged in, and as you can see, I'm in the projects page. I'm just gonna create a droplet now. Okay. So this page will ask you to choose a distribution and then a plan. So for the test purpose, I'm just gonna choose the very basic starter plan, which is the $5 per month, and Ubuntu 18.4, the current stable, and the for the data center, I'm gonna choose the New York one. And authentication, you can choose a one-time password or an SSH key, whichever you feel like, but an SSH key is much more reliable and secure because you don't need to enter your password every time you log in, since you have the keys added in your system. And the ones who have your SSH keys can only access your server, so that's very much okay. I'm going to be using an SSH key, so there's that. Let's go up with this host name. We're gonna let it be that, which is by default the server specs, I suppose. And let's just create the droplet. It's gonna take half a second or something. Okay, so the server has been created. This is the IP we got for our server. We're just gonna be copying it, and let's open up the terminal. I'm gonna search for hyper, which is my default terminal. Okay, let's bring hyper here. We're gonna SSH into our server. Root is by default the admin username for a Linux distro, and I'm gonna paste the IP address for my server. Since I already have the SSH keys added, it's gonna get me logged into the system. So as you can see, I'm already logged in now. Okay then, so the next step is to install EasyEngine, which will be our WordPress server handler. So let's get to EasyEngine site, easyengine.io. So EasyEngine is currently running at v4, and v4 has many great features, and handles everything for your WordPress site, such as Nginx for the server, PHP for the language, MySQL for the database, and other object catching, etc. And it also supports Let's Encrypt for adding SSL, and there is Docker support. There is everything you need to control your WordPress site with more updating functions and everything, which is where you don't need to go through each server specific modules or updates to manually do so, or get in trouble in doing so. So this handles everything, whether it's your database job or whether it's your server thing. So uh, There are other stuff as well. So these developer friendly tools such as WP CLI support is by default added, and there's this admin tools which gives you extra layer of PHP MyAdmin, Redis, catches, and some extra state such as logging, viewers, etc. We're gonna go through that in this video. Okay then, so let's get started. Let's install EasyEngine on our server. So the basic steps to install EasyEngine are just copy this one from the get started page. We're just gonna copy this into our server and let's just paste it here and run it. It's automatically gonna install EasyEngine on your server. Okay, now so as you can see it has completed the installation and EasyEngine is now installed in our server. So the next step would be to simply do a site creation, like simply next step would be to actually add your domain into the server. So you can add your domain via this networking page you can find at the left admin bar in your DigitalOcean sorry admin page, and just enter the domain name. I'm gonna enter my domain name which should be pointed to DigitalOcean, by the way. So it's gonna get added into this. The next thing would be to actually it should point to this ns1.digitalocean.com, ns2.digitalocean.com, and ns3.digitalocean.com. So the first two ones are important and the third one is optional, by the way, but in any case you're gonna be wanted to add all of these. And the next step would be to direct the domain to your server, which is you can do here at this a name record, add an at which should be directed to the domain and your server, and then the TTL should be 1800, good enough, and just create a record which by default is gonna point your domain name to the server which we just created. Okay then, so the next step is to install a site. Okay, so since we are already a root user, we can just skip to the EE thing and we can simply do EE site create example.com. By the way, we're gonna just type this one out, EE site create. So this is the command you can use to create a site via the EasyEngine. So for our domain name we're gonna be using lashkan.com and then / type, I think actually it's just WP. So what this is gonna do is create a website and direct it to the lashkan.com domain, and it's gonna be a WP site since we added that WP flag. Let's do this. Once we hit enter, it's gonna automatically fetch WordPress and install the necessary components in its own Docker container and run it automatically. Has installed our site with the WordPress framework, and as you can see it has given all the necessary details we can use to log into our site. And then yeah, so the site is located at lashkan.com. As we pointed our domain name, it's automatically gonna create a like a direct route in the Nginx and point it to lashkan.com, so we can simply just visit lashkan.com and see the installation. So the username would be kindgolik. Okay, it's a very weird username, but whatever. So we're just gonna be copying this one, kindgolik, and then this is the password. So let's see if our domain name is being reflected at this server or not. Since I have added it just now, I don't think it's gonna be pointed right away, but it takes some time, but it gets visible sooner or later. All right, let's all right, so as you can see, it has installed the site, and we can simply log into WP admin since WordPress dashboard is at that. So it's okay, it's adding that HTTPS by default. We're gonna be avoiding that since we didn't add any SSL certificate in this one. Okay, actually the username is kind go lick and the password is we copied. Okay, so we're in the dashboard now. As you can see, it was as easy as a simple command, and your site is completely installed and is being finely running at the domain we connected it to. And the next steps are very simple. As far as the commands go, you can simply create a site by ee site create and the site name and then / wp, / hyphen wp, and you can see other commands here at this commands page. There are these like very basic ones, and these go like at advanced levels as well, but like for starters you can simply see the ee site, which is ee site clean, which clears objects, page caches, etc. for site, and this is for the site creation, and this is the site delete, there's the site disable, site enable, there's the site info, which the info we just saw here can be uh, reviewed, or you can check again via this ee site info and then followed by your site name. EE site list is where you can see all the sites you have created with EasyEngine, and EE site publishes site using ngrok. Okay. And there's this EE site reload which you can use to reload your site, which includes all the server files, etc., and the database. Restart is for restarting your whole site. Since it's contained in a Docker container, you can use this to restart the services in there. And these are all the other commands you can use. EE site SSL is for verifying SSL challenges and renewing SSL certificates if expired, as it says. So all you can find, like everything you need to know, you can find at this commands page. Though I won't suggest going to this handbook and other pages. Like handbook is still using I think some of their pages are of like v3, the earlier version of EasyEngine, and v3 is now not supported, and v4 has like some of I think most of them commands has been changed. As for earlier you could use a stack for adding dependencies for your site, such as PHP dependencies, etc., and adding any server related stack related installations, etc. You could simply use the stack one, but now you have to go into the site shell and then add it via there. So as far as the commands go, you can find them here. And so the next thing we're gonna do is add an SSL, because that's the very important thing for a site nowadays. SSL is a very fine layer of security you can add to your site. So let's do that. We can do that simply via this ee site command, and then since we have already created our site, we can use an update now. But if you are creating your site and you want to add the SSL at the very beginning, you can simply do so by ee create and follow ee site create and followed by your site name and then SSL le equal to le. So this is by default gonna add an SSL certificate from Let's Encrypt. So then but then again we already created our site, so we're gonna use this SSL site update. So what this does is adds an certificate. Let's encrypt SSL certificate. So what we're gonna do is ee site update and the domain name and then SSL equal to le. So this is by default gonna add an Let's Encrypt certificate. We're gonna have to enter mail ID will be this. So as you can see, it is as easy as simply hitting a command, and it will automatically add your SSL certificate, whether it's about adding or renewing. It goes as easy as that. Like, you can simply follow these commands and your site will be updated, and throughout the updation process, you're not gonna have any problems as long as you're following these commands. And there are other stuff as well. You can use EE-CLI, you can use EE-shell. EE-shell is for accessing your site. Since it's run in a Docker container, you're gonna be using EE-shell to access the container of your site. And as to locate your site files, you can locate them at opt EasyEngine, since they are stored there, and then sites, and then you can simply view them here. Since domain name, it will be the folder name will be the domain name, so it's just gonna be lushgun.com, seeding into it, and it's gonna be one layer down, cd app, and then cd htdocs, and then there will be all of your site files. You can modify them here, or you can simply use a FTP client and then go into the seat like opt EasyEngine sites, and then your domain name, and then app, and then htdocs, and there will be all of your site files. So that is that. And as you can see, we have a working WordPress site now. Okay, so we just added the certificate, as we're just gonna test that one. It's automatically gonna direct us to this HTTP one, and as you can see, it is it has a Let's Encrypt certificate now. So so as far as that goes, about creating a WordPress site and managing it, it is as simple as that. You can simply hit a command, and then it's automatically gonna create one site for you, and it's gonna run it very smoothly for you. And for creating further like sites as you go on, you can simply use all of these commands. And this handbook is still useful even if you are using v4. There are some commands you can still follow, but some of them I found are not updated for EE v4, and yeah, so you may find yourself in trouble here and then. But then there is Google. You can search on how you can do that. Since EasyEngine is a very popular automated server, you can find related questions and answers following your issue. So there's that. And yeah, the next thing would be to look into this admin tools. EE admin tools offer let's just see what EE admin tools gives us. So okay, wait, let's actually go to this handbook and visit the admin tools section. So as I said, it's not all completely ignorable, but it has some good stuff you still can use. So EE admin tools is as easy as like EE admin tools enable, and then followed by your site name, and it's automatically gonna enable the admin tools. Admin tools are for the EEngine this opcatch GUI, which then has the PHPs and opcatch states, and then PHP info will have the PHP info for your site, and then PHP myadmin, as you might already know, is for database access. So it's a graphical interface for accessing your database. And then there's PHP Redis admin, which is an interface, web interface for showing the Redis cache. There's Mailhog for displaying email related info and caches stuff for your site in a graphical interface. So this is them very much like for whatever purpose you may run into an error, and if you want to log into your files, you can simply use these. And um, your server logs are stored just about in the site domain name, which we went into, like this opt EasyEngine sites and then domain name, and it is stored in this logs folder. Logs, the Nginx ones are stored in the Nginx, and then PHP ones are stored in PHP. So as far as handling a server goes, it is as easy as that. I would suggest creating a server and then testing it on your own would be the pretty much recommended start for you, since it can be a bit a thing for, like if you are gonna be directly starting your production site on this without even testing it. So I would suggest doing it first for a test run and then creating your production server. So if you, as if in case you have a rock solid server already and then you wanted to move on this one, and then you may run into errors. So then again, you just want to create a test run, and then if you feel like you can use this one, then I think it's a very good automation thing for running WordPress sites and servers for clients, etc. So that's about this. I'm gonna be creating more tutorials and videos about servers, and then there's a WordPress theme development related course coming in the next month, and I hope I will see you then. Yeah, so then have a good one, and happy holidays.